Hello and welcome to another video by Rick Miracle, made in my series Freemasonry and Satanism. This will be 85 part 3, a continuation of Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike. I think published around 1880, let me check. He was a Grand Commander of the Southern Jurisdiction of the Freemasons from 1859 to 1891. Here's a picture of Albert. So I gotta tell you, this stuff is blowing me away. I'm learning about this new age religion, I guess. The Theosophist Society, which is apparently in cahoots with the United Nations and part of the Illuminati, Freemasons, New World Order, using things like biodiversity, sustainability, global warming, and all kinds of other Hegelian philosophy to bring about control over the peoples of the planet. Those, apparently, that they do not eliminate. Murder. According to the U.S. Georgia Guidestones, you can look them up, they want to maintain a world population of 500 million. We have, that means about 6 billion people might have to die. Least we forget they are sky-spraying chemicals and maybe biologicals into the sky. All you have to do is go outside and look up and take a picture or a video. But most people will be in denial. The HAARP systems, H-A-A-R-P, microwave transmitters. CERN, the collider, with the statue of the goddess of destruction out front, Shiva. 666 in the logo. Located at Geneva, which is the long-time home base, I suppose, for the Illuminati. And apparently the origin of the Frankenstein myth. So just too much crazy stuff. And I come across the topic in this book. We've been reading about the Night of the Brazen Serpent. I believe that's 25th degree. 25th degree, Night of the Brazen Serpent. And you notice they have a globe with wings and a serpent, and another column with a serpent. So what the heck is this stuff? I did skip over from where I left off. As I've shown you before, what I do is I know where I am by putting little markers on there. And that would be 85 part 1, and that would be pointing towards the down. And if you move forward in the pages, you'll find one with an arrow up, 85.1. So I know where I leave off. And I did skip the section, numerous pages concerning Osiris and his wife Isis and their son Horus, who is represented on the US dollar bill as the all-seeing eye with the blazing sun behind it. And we all know apparently Isis is the threat. Is it a coincidence they use that name? I think not. And Osiris, her husband, was killed by another god, his brother Typhon, and cut up into many pieces, and Isis went all over the world to collect the pieces and put him back together, which she accomplished, save one piece, the phallic unit. She couldn't find that. And that is represented, apparently, by all these obelisks in all of our city and town squares, and the government, Washington Monument obelisk, one in front of the Vatican. So all these religions in secret, I suppose you could say, are using the penis, the phallic unit, as a representation of the God that they worship. Just my investigation, but let's read the book. So I skipped over the story of Osiris and Isis and Horus, which we will be seeing more of, so I didn't mind skipping over those pages. But I did come to page 492, and I'll just start reading, and it should make sense. Souls, our souls, you have a soul, I have a soul. The ancients held, have emmanuated souls, the ancients held, have emmanuated from the principle of light, partaking of its destiny here below, cannot be indifferent to nor unaffected by these revolutions of the great luminary, alternately victor and overcome during every solar revolution. This symbol will be found to be confirmed by the examination of some of the symbols used in Masonry. One of the most famous of these was the serpent. The particular symbol also of this degree, and this degree is the Knight of the Brazen Serpent. The cosmology, the zodiac, the stars, the planets, the galaxy, the universe, the cosmology of the Hebrews, that's what it says here, Hebrews. I'm not trying to drag the Jews into this conversation, but that's what it says here. It's the cosmology of the Hebrews and that of the Gnostics, the ones of knowledge, pagan religion, many gods, designated this reptile, the serpent, as the author of the fate of souls. It was consecrated in the mysteries of Bacchus and in those of Eleusis. Okay. Pluto overcame the virtue of Proserpine under the form of a serpent, and like the Egyptian god Serapis, was always pictured seated on a serpent and with that reptile entwined about him. So you're going to find out a lot about serpents here. It is found in the Mithric monuments, supplied with attributes of Typhon to the Egyptians. So on the mythic monuments and the ancient religion of the Romans, etc., and supplied with attributes of Typhon, the one who killed Osiris, to the Egyptians. The sacred basilica, the sacred basilisk, the sacred B-A-S-I-L-I-S-C, some words are just a little difficult, basilisk, an incoil with head and neck erect, was the royal ensign of the pharaoh. So we've all seen a picture of the pharaoh and that little reptilian snake on his forehead. Two of them were entwined around and hung suspended from the winged globe of the Egyptian monuments. So we just saw the winged globe. They use that symbol a lot. On a tablet in one of the tombs at Thebes, a god with a spear pierces a serpent's head. On a tablet from the temple of Osiris at Philae is a tree with a man on one side and a woman on the other, and in front of the woman an erect basilisk with horns on its head and a disc between the horns. We've seen those pictures where they have the horns and a disc between them in the Egyptian hieroglyphics. The head of Medusa was encircled by winged snakes, which the head removed left a hierogram or sacred cipher of the Ophites or serpent worshippers. Now we're reading a book here, the Bible for the Freemasons. serpent worshippers. And the serpent in connection with the globe or circle is found upon the monuments of all ancient nations. And the serpent in connection with the globe or circle is found upon monuments of all ancient nations. So you don't believe in serpents and snakes in the Garden of Eden. It's right here in this book. Over Libra, the sign through which souls were said to descend or fall, is found on the celestial globe. The serpent, grasped by Serpentarius, the serpent bearer. The head of the reptile is under the Carina Borealis, the northern crown, called by Ovid Liberia or Proserpine. And the two constellations rise with the balance after the Virgin, Isis, whose feet rest on the eastern horizon at sunrise on the day of the equinox. As the serpent extends over both signs, Libra and Scorpio, it has been the gate through which souls descend during the whole time that these two signs in succession mark the autumn equinox. So as we know, the sun goes to the north and the sun goes to the south. Extreme ends, which would be solstices, and when it crosses the middle line again, going towards summer, that would be a spring equinox, reaching June midsummer, and it comes back, would be autumn equinox, that middle point between winter and midsummer. So these were religious holidays, part of the cosmology of the ancients. To this alluded the serpent, which in the mysteries of Bacchus, Seba Zeus, was flung into the bosom of the initiate. And hence came the enigmatic expression, enigma. Spit out some words. It's going to get more interesting. The serpent engenders the bull, and the bull the serpent. Alluded to in the two adverse constellations, answering to the two equinoxes, one of which rose as the other set, and which were at 2 points of the heavens through which souls passed, ascending or descending. So apparently, even in the this Bible for the Freemasons, they talk about souls, that we have souls that ascend, I guess when you die, and then when you are born in a new body, reincarnated possibly, you descend to earth. This is the religion of the New Age, involving the serpent. By the serpent of autumn, souls fell, and they were regenerated again by the bull on with Mithras sat, I guess, whose attributes Bacchus Zagreus and the Egyptian Osiris assumed in their mysteries, wherein were represented the fall and regeneration of souls by the bulls slain and restored to life. Afterwards, the regeneration sun assumed the attributes of Ares or the Lamb, and in the mysteries of Ammon, souls were regenerated by passing through this sign after having fallen through the serpent. The serpent bearer, or Orpheus, was Aesculapius, god of healing. In the mysteries of Eulalius, this constellation was placed in the 8th heaven, and on the 8th day of those mysteries, the feast of Aesculapius was celebrated. It is also termed Epidarius, or the feast of the serpent of Epidarius. The serpent was sacred to Aesculapius, and was connected in various ways with the mythological adventures of Ceres. So the liberation to souls by pouring wine on the ground and looking toward the two gates of heaven, those of day and night, referred to the ascent and descent of souls. Sirius and the serpent, Jupiter Ammon, and the bull all figured in the mysteries of Bacchus. All right, here we go. The serpent is in the east, and reciprocally, so that Jupiter Ammon, or the son of Aries, causes the crown to rise after the Virgin, in the train of which comes the serpent. So if you look at the zodiac, you'll see the Virgin, you'll see these different constellations, and you'll see a big serpent. In conjunction with the serpent under the crown, we shall see the bull and the Pleiades rise. Another constellation, star system, the Pleiades, in the east. And we've gone over the book about apparently some alien Pleiades coming here to Earth. And according to the books I went over, Barbara, think of her last name, Manichek. But apparently these Palladian aliens are here now, according to these books and a lot of other people. Videos I've gone over when I did some book reviews on these subjects. And apparently they apologize for interfering with the human race and making some rather disastrous experiments with us. And they now have returned to amend for their problems, because it has apparently harmed their own souls and karma. So they say they're coming back to Earth to fix the problems. Look up the Pleiades on YouTube and watch some videos. I've gone over some, look up mine. But I'm just saying, all this stuff continues to show itself, and I don't think it's a coincidence. Thus are explained all the fables as to the generation of the bull by the serpent, or of the serpent by the bull. The biting of the testicles of the bull by the scorpion on the Mithric monuments. So there are Mithric monuments, and apparently some scorpion is biting the bull's testicles. And that Jupiter made Ceres with child by tossing into her bosom the testicles of a ram. In the mysteries of the bull-horned Bacchus, the officers held serpents in their hands, raised them above their heads, and cried aloud, Eva, the generic oriental name of the serpent, and the particular name of the constellation in which the Persians placed Eve and the serpent. The Arabians called it Heva, Orpheus himself, Hawa, and the brilliant star on his head, Ras-a-Hawa. The use of the word Eva, or Eva, caused Clemens of Alexandria to say that the priest of the mysteries invoked Eve, by whom evil was brought into the world. So again, you talk to a lot of people about the New Age, and they will tell you that you don't have a soul, or they will tell you there's no such thing as evil. And you read this book here. Now, I'm not saying this book is 100% true information. And again, I'll show you a little bit of my reflexology with my hand here. So use my forefinger and my middle finger. I just hold my hand out. Should I jump off the roof? The middle finger's twitching. That means no. Would Rick like to go out on a date tonight with a pretty girl? Yes. So you can do this. You know, I'm not doing it. There's books on the subject. You just have to relax and let your, I guess, soul or spirit cause a muscle reflex. So what I do now is I go, is more than 50% of the material in this book correct? No. 40%? No. 30%? Yes. 31, 32? Yes. 33? Yes. 34? No. Yeah, no. So again, we arrive back at 33, or leaving the difference at 33 point something, of about 66% of the material in this book is a deception, if reflexology works. And I've shown you books where even the military is using people in trances to leave their body, called remote viewing, and dowsers find water with the sticks and using reflexology by different tools, wands, pendulums, rods. And there's a lot of people who teach hand reflexology on the computer. So you could be in a grocery store and pick up a bottle of vitamins and ask yourself, is this the best vitamin for me in this store? And your finger will go yes or no. And nobody knows what you're doing. You're just standing there doing it. Just an interesting technology to explore. And I will go over this in other books. It's easy to train yourself. Just let your hand droop down to your side and ask it to show you your no. You may have to force it and demand your brain to do it. But eventually your no finger will twitch. And for some people, this is the no and this is the yes. It's all magnetic poles and muscle reflexes through the electronics in your body. We are bioelectric beings with souls inside or outside, if you want to look at an aura as the entire soul. So I'm just saying that some basic stuff I want to point out, that I don't believe that everything in here is true. So I'm not trying to preach this material. I am saying this is the sort of the Bible for the Freemasons. And we've gone over Helena Blavatsky's The Secret Doctrine from the Theophist Society, which seems to have matching material. Rosicrucian, the Teaching of Adepts, which we will go over again, seems to be matching material. And I have other books that I've been going over. Even the religion that Hitler was into seems to match the material. And using these spiritual tools, and it might behoove the rest of us to realize that this stuff really exists. Alright. So evil was brought into the world by invoking Eve. Alright, moving on here. The Orpheus fed a serpent in the mysterious ark, from which they took him when they celebrated the mysteries. And I keep talking about the Mystery School of Babylon when I talk about magic. The Rosicrucians, Kabbalah, the Freemasons, the Illuminati, the Zionists, the Jesuits, and the Mystery School of Babylon. And Babylon means the gateway to the gods. So I saw this topic in this book about the serpent, page after page after page. So I thought it might be prudent to read about this religion of the serpent. The symbols everywhere. What did David Icke say there are reptilians in his many books? His interview with Arizona Wilder, having a witchcraft type ritual with the Illuminati, which she was raised from a child to participate in. And they would slash a child to death, drink the blood, eat the flesh, and transform from the human shape into reptilian shapes, and the leader is called the Pindar. Is this stuff true? And the Freemasons have a lodge or temple on almost every corner in the country, in the United States, in the world, and they swear under threat of death not to divulge what they're trained or knowledge or secrets, and to obey the master. So it might behoove us to read this stuff. So the Orpheus fed a serpent in the mysterious ark, from which they took him when they celebrated the mysteries, and allowed him to glide among the sacred bread. Oh my, so they put a snake on the table and let the snake glide through their food when they were having their celebrations. The Romans kept serpents in the temple of Bona Dei and Cepheus. So they kept serpents in the temple of Bona Dei and Cepheus, temples of Cepheus. In the mysteries of Apollo, the pursuit of Latona by the serpent Python was represented. In the Egyptian mysteries, the dragon Typhon pursued Isis. According to the Sanchoniathon, Tout, T-A-A-U-T, the interpreter of heaven to men, attributed something divine to the nature of the dragon and serpents, to which the Phoenicians and Egyptians followed him. They have more vitality, more spiritual force than any other creature, of a fiery nature shown by the rapid of their motion without the limbs of other animals. They assume many shapes and attitudes and dart with extraordinary quickness and force. They're talking about snakes. When they have reached old age, they throw off that age and are young again and increase in size and strength for a certain period of years. The Egyptian priest fed the sacred serpents in the temple of Thebes, taught himself, had in his writings discussed the mysteries in regard to the serpent. Sanchoniathon said in another work that the serpent was immortal and re-entered into himself, which, according to some ancient theophist, so it's mentioning theophist here, Helena Blavatsky went over to India, China, Tibet, the Himalayan mountains maybe, brought the new religion to the West, Europe, and the United States, called the Theophist Society. So here Albert Pike is mentioning the Theosophists, though particularly those of India. As I said, Helena Blavatsky went to India to learn this religion, to bring back to the West. And of course, India and China is the East. Not trying to talk down to anybody, but some of this stuff I didn't know. I'd like to make it clear that it's apparently this religion of the East. It is going to part of the Freemasons and the Illuminati and all these other cults that want to destroy Christianity. So, Sanchoniathon said in another work that the serpent was immortal and re-entered into himself, which, according to some ancient theosophists, particularly those of India, was an attribute of the deity. So the snake was a deity, a god. And he also said that the serpent never died unless by a violent death. The Phoenicians called the serpent Agathodemon, something like that, the good spirit. And Nelph was the serpent god of the Egyptians. The Egyptians, Sanchoniathon said, represented the serpent with the head of a hawk on account of the swift flight of that bird, and the chief hierophant, the sacred interpreter, gave very mysterious explanations of that symbol, saying that such a serpent was a very divine creature. Such a serpent was a very divine creature. And that opening his eyes, he lighted with the rays of the whole of the firstborn space, and when he closes them, it is darkness again. In reality, the hawk-headed serpent, genius of light, or good genius, was the symbol of the sun. So we got the sun and the snake as these gods, or God. In the hieroglyphic characters, the snake was the letter T, or DJ. It occurs many times on the Rosetta Stone. The horned serpent was the hieroglyphic for a god. The horned serpent was a hieroglyphic for a god. According to Eusebius, the Egyptians represented the world by a blue circle sprinkled with flames, within which was extended the serpent with the head of a hawk. Priclos says they represented the four quarters of the world by a cross, and the soul of the world, or Neph, by a serpent surrounding it in the form of a circle. Alright, moving on. We read in Anaxagoras that Orpheus said that the water and the vessel that produced it were the primitive principles of things, and together gave existence to an animated being which was a serpent. with two heads, one of a lion and the other of a bull. A serpent with the two heads, one of a lion, one of a bull, between which the figure of a god whose name was Hercules or Kronos. That from Hercules came the egg of the world, which produced heaven and earth, by dividing itself into two hemispheres, and that the god plains, which issued from that egg, was in the shape of a serpent. Well, this has been an education for me, one that's been a little disturbing, to say the least. And I've got a long ways to go. I've got more books and more of this stuff. The Egyptian goddess Ken represented standing naked on a lion, held two serpents in her hand. So the Egyptian god Ken was standing naked on a lion. I've shown pictures of some of the Egyptian photos, with two serpents in her hand. She is the same as Astarte, or Astaroth, of the Assyrians. Hera worshipped in the great temple at Babylon, held in her right hand a serpent by the head, and near Kia, also worshipped there, were two large silver serpents. So here's Albert Pike, page after page after page, of defending or promoting or educating whoever reads this material to get the 25th degree of Masonry, the Knight of the Brazen Serpent. He's just going on and on and on and on of proof. So what are we to think? In a sculpture from Kuyajef, two serpents attached to poles are near a fire altar, in which two eunuchs are standing. Eunuchs are men that have been castrated. Oh well, it's just some interesting stuff here. It's got more to go. And a photo shoot or two in this video, so hang in there. So when I get ready to start showing some pictures, I went on the internet, Yahoo image site, and put in occult serpents. Wait till you see. The Phoenicians represented the god Numa, Kemph or Amun Kemph, by a serpent. In Egypt, a sun supported by two asps, those are very poisonous snakes, asp, was the emblem of Horhat, the good genius. And the serpent with the winged globe was placed over the doors and windows of the temples as a tutelary god. Antipater of Sidon calls Amun the renowned serpent, and the Cerastus is often found embalmed in the Tibet. On ancient Tyrian coins and Indian medals, a serpent was represented coiled round the trunk of a tree. Python, the serpent deity, was esteemed oracular, and the tripod at Delphi was a triple-headed serpent of gold. So they made gold serpents, images. The portals of all the Egyptian temples are decorated with the hierogram of a circle and a serpent. It is also found upon the temple of Nike Rustan in Persia, on the triumphal arch at Peking in China, over the gates of the great temple in Claudia, Triva in Java, upon the walls in Athens, and the temple of Minerva at Tigray. The Mexican hierogram was formed by the intersecting of two great serpents, which describe the circle with their bodies, and each a human head in its mouth. Page 496, by the way, in Morals and Dogma. I'm reading from this stuff. Among the Egyptians, it was a symbol of divine wisdom, when extended at length, and its tail in its mouth of eternity. In the ritual of Zoroaster, the serpent was a symbol of the universe. In China, the ring between two serpents was a symbol of the world governed by the power and wisdom of the Creator. So Bachianus carried serpents, the Bachianus carried serpents in their hands or around their heads. The serpent entwined around an egg was a symbol common to the Indians, the Egyptians, and the Druids. I keep saying all this stuff is connected. And they're saying it's connected. Common to the Indians, the Egyptians, and the Druids. It referred to the creation of the universe. A serpent with an egg in his mouth was the symbol of the universe containing within itself the germ of all things that the sun develops. The property possessed by the serpent of casting its skin and apparently renewing its youth made an emblem of eternity and immortality. The Syrian women still employ it as a charm against barrenness. So did the devotees of Mithras and Seba Zeus. The earth-born civilizers of the early world, Phohai, Crocerops, the Erusians, were half man and half serpent. This is in Morals and Dogma, Albert Pike's book. The earth-born civilizations of early world, Phohai, Cecrops, and Erechius, were half man and half serpent. The snake was the guardian of the Athenian Acropolis. Nehushtan, the brazen serpent of the wilderness, became naturalized among the Hebrews, the Jews, as a token of healing power. Be ye, says Christ, wise as serpents and harmless as doves. The serpent was as often a symbol of malevolence and enmity. The serpent was as often a symbol of malevolence and enmity. So that's the opposite of benevolence. So a symbol of evil. It appears that the emblems of the Siva Rudra, the power of the desolation and death, it is the bane of Apetius, Idom, Archimedes, and Philatius. It gnaws the roots of the tree of life in the Edus, and bites the heel of the unfortunate Eurydice. In Hebrew writers in general, a type of evil, and is particularly so in the Indian and Persian mythologies. That would be the snake, serpent. When the sea is churned by Mount Mandor, rotating within the coils of the cosmical serpent Vasuki to produce the Amrita, or water of immortality, the serpent vomits a hideous poison which spreads through and infects the universe, but which Vishnu, one of those Hindu gods, renders harmless by swallowing it. Ahriman, in serpent form, invades the realm of Ormuzd, and the bull, emblem of life, is wounded by him and dies. It was therefore a religious obligation of every devout follower of Zoroaster to exterminate reptiles and other impure animals, especially serpents. The moral and astronomical significance of the serpent were connected. It became a maximum in the Zen Avesta that Ahriman, the principle of evil, made the great serpent of winter, who assaulted the creation of Ormuzd. The serpent ring was a well-known symbol of time, and to express dramatically how time preys upon itself, the Egyptian priest fed vipers in the subterranean chamber, as it were in the sun's winter abode, on the fat of bulls, or the year's plentiness. So they kept vipers, pretty dangerous snakes, in the subterranean chambers and fed them. The dragon of winter pursued Ammon, the golden ram, to Mount Casius. The virgin of the zodiac is bitten in the heel by serpents. who, with Scorpio, rises immediately behind her, and as honey, the emblem of purity and salvation, was thought to be an antidote to the serpent's bite. So the bees of Astrius, the emblems of nature's abundance, are destroyed through the agency of a serpent and regenerated through the entrails of the vernal bull. So the your intestines. The sun god is finally victorious. Krishna crushes the head of the serpent Silea. Apollo destroys Python. Hercules, that Vernane monster who poisoned, festered on the foot of Philiasults. These words, I just take a stab at them. I think we get the point. Of Myphos, of Chiron, and Sagittarius. The infant Hercules destroys the pernicious snakes, digested of the gods, and ever like St. George of England, and Michael the archangel, wars against hydras and dragons. The eclipse of the sun and moon were believed by the Orientals to be caused by the assault of a demon in dragon form, and they endeavored to scare away the intruder by shouts and menaces. This was the origin, Leviathan, or crooked serpent, of old transfixion in the olden time by the power of Jehovah, and suspended as the glittering trophy in the sky, yet also the power of darkness, supposed to be ever in pursuit of the sun and the moon. In the East Indian Avatara, as in the Eddas, a serpent vomiting flames is expected to destroy the world. Did you just get that? In the last Indian Avatara, so I guess it's an age to come, as in the Eddas, a serpent vomiting flames is expected to destroy the world. Now, the big Milky Way in the sky, if you look up at the sky at night and if you see it at the right time, looks like a big serpent in the sky. So if all of this is some kind of allegory or some kind of hidden meaning, will some kind of comets come from the Milky Way that we see in the sky? The great serpent in the sky is expected to destroy the world. The serpent presides over the close of the year, where it guards the approach to the golden fleece of Aries and the three apples and seasons of Hesperides, presenting a formidable obstacle to the career of the sun god. The great destroyer of snakes is occasionally married to them. Hercules, with the northern dragon, begets the three ancestors of Scythia, for the sun seems at one time to rise victorious from the contest with darkness, and at another to sink into its embraces. The northern constellation Draco, whose synicities wind like a river through the winter bear, was made the astronomical citure of the universe, as the serpent encircles the mundane egg of Egyptian hieroglyphics. The Persian Ahriman was called the old serpent, the lair from the beginning, the prince of darkness, and the rover up and down. The dragon was a well-known symbol of the waters and the great rivers. It was natural by that pastoral aesthetic tribes, the powerful nations of the alluvian plains in their neighborhood who adored the dragon or fish, should themselves symbolize, under the form of dragons, and overcome the superior might of the Hebrew god, as monstrous leviathans maintained and destroyed by him. Ophiuchus, in the old Greek theology, warred against Cronus, and was overcome and cast into his proper element, the sea. There he is installed as the sea god Onus, or dragon, the Leviathan of the watery half of creation, the dragon who vomited a flood of water after the persecuted woman of the Apocalypse, the monster who threatened to devour Hesione and Andromeda, and who for a time became the grave of Hercules and Jonah. In the spring of the year, the sun god, in the spring, or the year or sun god appears as Mithras, or Europa, mounted on a bull, but in the opposite half of the zodiac rides an emblem of the water, the winged horse of Nestor or Poseidon, and the serpent rising Heracles at the autumnal equinox, besetting with poisonous influence the cold constellation Sagittarius, is explained as a reptile in the path who bites the horse's heel so that the rider falls backwards. The same serpent, the Onius Ephesus, or Masurius of Cyniceus, was the Midgard serpent who Odin sank beneath the sea, but which grew to such a size to encircle the whole earth. For these Asiatic symbols from the Asia, of the contest of the sun god with the dragon of darkness and winter were imported not only into the zodiac, but into the more homely circle of European legend. And both Thor and Odin fight with the dragons, as Apollo did with Python, the great scaly snake. Archelaus with the Scamander, and Bellerophon with the Cinemera, I guess different kinds of snakes. In the acropolyptic book of Estor, dragons herald a day of darkness and obscurity, and St. George of England, the problematic Cappadorian prince, was originally only a varying form of Mithras. Jehovah is said to have cut Rahab and wounded the dragon. The latter was not the type of earthly desolation, the dragon of the deep waters, but also the leader of the banded conspirators of the sky, of the rebellious stars, according to which Enoch came not at the right time, and his tail drew a third part of the host of heaven and cast them into the earth. I know the way I understand the religion, a third part of the angels were cast from heaven for rebelling, revolution. And so here it says that Enoch came not at the right time, and his tail drew a third part of the host of heaven and cast them to the earth. Jehovah divided the sea by his strength and broke the heads of the dragons in the water. And according to the Jewish and Persian belief, the dragon would, in the latter days, the winter of time, enjoy a short period of licensed impunity, which would be a season of greatest suffering to the people of earth. Did you just hear what I said? In Christianity, this is a biblical prophecy. The devil will be loosed for a short period of time and have impunity to destroy everything that he wants to. And a lot of people think that's why they're trying to crank up CERN and open up portals to this other dimension of apparently some kind of interdimensional beings. So his greatest suffering to the people of earth, but he would finally be bound and destroyed in a great battle of Messiah, or as it seems, intimidated by the rabbinic figure of being eaten by the faithful. Be like Araman or Vasuki, ultimately absorbed by and united with the principles of good. So the people, apparently the faithful, will eventually destroy the evil. Way I'm interpreting this. Near the image of Rhea in the temple of Baal, remember they're trying to erect 1,000 temples of Baals throughout the world right now. They called it the Temple of Baal, and because of a public uproar in New York and London, they switched it to the Temple of Palmyra, and then they even came up with another name, but it's the Temple of Baal. And near the image of Rhea, the Temple of Baal, at Babylon, were two large serpents of silvery says Dorius, each weighing 30 talents. And at the same temple was an image of Juno, holding in the right hand the head of a serpent. So now we're tying the serpent with these temples of Baal they're trying to put up all over the world, which are supposed to be some kind of portals. The Greeks called Baal Baal-er. Getting a little windy out here. And Hesonius interprets the word to mean a dragon or great serpent. We learn from the book of Bel, and the dragon in Babylon was kept a great live serpent, which the people worshipped. I think I'll stop right there with this stuff. And do a little picture show. And you notice when I was talking about it, that Temple of Baal, that wind cranker. Think there's anything to that? Just saying. This has been a very testing research for me. I mean, it's just a little bit hard to fathom. But let's look at some pictures. Now, all I did is went on Yahoo image site. You can look it up. You can look up almost anything. But I put in occult serpents. And here we go, because it's going to get crazy. Notice the 666 on the bottom of this. There's the earth. Look at the flames. Look at the serpents. And look at the 666. And again, I just went on the Yahoo image site, put in occult serpents. Remember, in China, the huge symbol is the dragon. And here we have the rose and a serpent, somebody's necklace. The Rosicrucians, are they worshiping Lucifer, the serpent? Are they tied together? Well, they're tied together in this picture. Right, and again, when you do look at these pictures, if you go to the Yahoo image site, there is a little link there to tell you where these pictures came from and the whole story behind the history or the mythology or the truth or whatever. Here you got winged people. Looks like the ones we looked at in the pictures before. There's cherubims with the wings, the horse with the wings, some guy with a sword, and a snake with people going in its mouth. And so when you go to Yahoo Images and you find these pictures, there is a link to click where you can get the full story. And again, I guess a snake eating its tail is a symbol of eternity. Look at the top of this staff with the ball and the wings and the two snakes. And I noticed something else with this propaganda and marketing to the peoples of the world. If you pay attention, you can find it. But there seems to be this new, I don't know if it's new, but some kind of cliche or saying that they're trying to pass around and get people to believe, and it's called faith no more. They want people to not have any faith in God. The serpent and the rainbow. I keep saying the rainbow is the symbol for the New Age and the gay agenda and a Harvard scientist's astonishing journey into the secret society of Haitian voodoo, zombies, and magic. Did you just catch that? The serpent and the rainbow. The rainbow is also the symbol for the New Age and the gay agenda. This is now reaffirming the things that my investigation has been discovering. And again, more of this. I noticed this on the Occult Serpent website, so faith no more. kind of witchcraft thing? Propaganda? Here's the symbol for the ancient god. The snake was a T, or Tau. So they, instead of a cross with Jesus on it, they have a T with a serpent on the top. And a circle. The circle? Is that not gonna creep anybody out? The trail of the serpent. Sign, stars, and 666. I would have never found these pictures had I not pursued this avenue of research and these books I'm doing. I've never seen these pictures. But it seems to be supporting all this stuff I have been discovering. Kind of windy out here. The hair's blowing in the breeze. You're not supposed to be looking at me, look at the pictures. Go to the website, Yahoo Images, and look up occult serpents. Here's a serpent with a female serpent, and one looks like the devil. The sun and the moon above it, a heart with flames coming out of it. Looks like sixes here. You wouldn't know it if you didn't pay attention, but those look like sixes, not the black, but the other color. It looks like a 6 and a 6 and a 6. And it's a serpent eating its tail. Secret Societies, Gardner's Forbidden Knowledge. I gotta get these books. Alfa Romeo. It's got a serpent with a person in its mouth. Alright, here we have another Rosicrucian Kabbalah Separate symbols with the columns of Freemasonry called Severity and Mercy. Anatomy Occultus. Wow, a picture could tell you 1,000 words. You could just look at this for quite a while and see all the symbols. Jesus Christ on the cross. How about a snake on Jesus Christ's cross? The all-seeing eye, the pyramid, and the snake. Remember, when you go look up Yahoo Images and find these pictures, you can click a link and you'll get the story. Be wise as serpents, the magical watchtowers, the Masonic Tower of Babel, and Christianity's systematic destruction. I didn't make these up. You can go look these up on occult serpents, and you'll find all this stuff. Look what it says on the bottom there. Christianity's systematic destruction. And with voodoo and magic, as the sign is the rainbow, is the sign of the gay agenda. You don't think it's all satanic. The Black Serpent, Volume 1, Issue 1, Spring 2006. In this issue, Right of Lucifer. Wow, you got to look up this document. Share your religion, lose your job, finding the right group, a pantheon of dark gods, peer control, feast or famine, demonic games, and more. Oh my, people don't believe. All I did is printed out the pictures I saw, all of them. I didn't exclude or add any others. Just as the sequence there, you're seeing them is when I printed them out. Took it to the pharmacy at the photomat. Here you got some ancients with a T, not a cross, and a snake on top. The T was supposed to be a symbol for their god, and then of course they got the snake on the top, so we know who their god is. Lucifer. The Nazis. Snakes, swastika. The symbols, the skull. The Freemasons. you're not going to get me to say that all the Freemasons are evil. They belong to these temples, lodges, whatever, groups of many different variations, even witchcraft covens, Illuminati, Rosicrucians, Knights of Columbus, Knights of Malta. The list is long. And they swear under threat of death, a hideous death, to not divulge the secrets of the goings-on and obey the master. And a lot of people join for the socialness and the job opportunities and business opportunities. So I'm not saying, just because they belong, that they're in on the goal of these groups for world domination or man's destruction. Because they're not told that. Even Albert Pike said, people don't find out the truth till they get to the 32nd degree or something. All the Freemasonic symbols are there. The moon, the sun, all the stuff we've been talking about. The columns. If you pay attention, you find out what all these mean. Then you got the ancient circles, Medusa with the snakes, and a cobra. Be interesting to go see this picture and click that link and see what this is all about. And then all these pictures with the cross with the snake on it. And the nice little earrings with a snake and a devil's star. But look at the tattoos on people's bodies. And here you have some kind of angel. It looks like the city's on fire. Oh, some kind of creature here. Quite satanic looking. Look at the skulls. We all know the story of Adam and Eve and the snake in the apple. Apparently there's more to it than what people know. Here you got a snake, wings, and the symbolic winged serpent of the goddess Marsoka or Malsikra. You like to go look that up and see what the heck is going on here. And at the same site, all these pictures came from the same site. The basic Illuminati structure and its relation to cooperating satanic bodies. That's what it says here. The Great White Brotherhood, the Red Brotherhood, the Grand Inspector, the Skull and Bones, the Craft Practicing Witches, Novice Witches, Knights, Knights of the East, Knights of the West, Knights of the Pelican, the Eagle, the Black Brotherhood. Oh my gosh, it's just endless. White Brotherhood, Red Brotherhood, Black Brotherhood, Witchcraft, Illuminati, Freemasons, Skull and Bones. I think this is in the Rothschild front yard. They worship the serpent. And if you're into the chakras and yoga, make no doubt about it, the penile serpent, the Itis serpent, the shaka, wuzda shaka, aha shaka, all this involves the serpent, the kundalini, and the winged egg, and the all-seeing eye, and the things we've been reading about. That's 7 stars, which is supposed to be a magic number. And if you do yoga and you enable your spiritual connection to come up through your body, the Kundalini, it takes practice and work. And apparently some people it's quite scary when it happens. But apparently it's supposed to connect you to the great serpent power. And the pictures and the art, it just keeps on coming. The eye, the serpents. The T, the symbol of God, and the serpent, and the sun's rays. I guess my point is, if you keep doing this, you start to get it. Tex Mars, Secret Societies and the Illuminati. Get these books. The Kabbalah, Tree of Life, the Sephiroth, and the Snake. And I saw one guy with this kind of t-shirt on the other day. I couldn't believe I actually saw it. But right here downtown where I live, the Cult of the Serpent. Look at the all-seeing eye that's on the dollar bill. And the sun's rays. It says right on it, Cult of the Serpent. What's it take for people to go, man, I get it. Little crystal there with a snake on it. So if the T is some kind of symbol of a divine god, they call it the Tau or something. We'll get to that. The Ankh. But look at the serpent on that cross with no top. And the heart with the flames. I noticed when I was in Santa Fe, a lot of the pictures they had of, seemingly to me, Mary and the baby, but they had the heart with the flames. And it had the moon and the sun on the bottom. I suspected there was something more to that than I understood. The devil sign, the upside down star, and the serpent. Is there any question what this means? The egg and the serpent, I suppose I'll have to continue investigating this. But we were reading about that in Albert Pike's book, and I'm sure in his book some more, and the other books we'll be talking about the egg, and I'll have to look up the occult egg and see what symbols are there. Another ancient symbol for the serpent. And the guy who started or carried on with the Church of Satan. Anton LaVey, who said, if you go watch a video of him speaking, they believe in murdering, stealing, pedophilia, adultery. They think it's their right to do what they want. I saw a guy with that symbol right here on a t-shirt yesterday. That symbol. Upside down with the serpent's head in it. Right on his t-shirt. Is there any doubt about C. Anton LaVey with the serpent, with the devil sign behind his head? You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to figure this out. The Rosicrucian symbols, the pyramid, the all-seeing eye, the blazing sun, and the serpent. The Rosicrucian Sephiroth, the 10 spheres, the kundalini of the body, the chakras, and the serpent. Here's a guy here who... skull and serpent tattooed on his arm. I've seen worse. And the conversation's going to get worse. The towel, the serpent, the crown of thorns, the sword, ancient symbols, serpents. And what is with this new logo or something? Faith no more. I kept seeing that pop up. It's supposed to become some kind of saying people are going to be walking around. Faith no more. We know they want to destroy Christianity. We've seen it here in this material, and including Albert Pike's book. And apparently this is, looks like to me, two girls kissing. A naked girl with wings and the sun. Endless Boogie. May 12, 2013, Brewery Ballroom. Endless Boogie. The naked woman, the wings, the eyes, and the sun. Do you get it? It says endless boogie on the bottom. The people are none the wiser. The snake, circle on top of the head, the Egyptian symbol. The wings. Melvin's, Green River and Melvin's, 1983. This was on that site, so I printed it out. Looks like a Nazi symbol there with the skull and bones on the bottom. And apparently the skull and bones in Harvard was started, or Yale, wherever it is, Harvard. It was the people who created it were Germans. This is supposed to, I think, one of the symbols for the Rothschilds, the Illuminati. The crest, the serpent. And apparently over in Vietnam, when Coca-Cola went into business, on the cans they put the serpent, the dragon. Maybe it helped to sell the Coca-Cola. And here we have some more religious aspects. The serpent engulfing people. Look at the serpents in this picture with humans wrapped around, they're wrapped around humans, I guess killing them. Alright, sinister serpent. Some kind of card game. So that was all the pictures. I tried to do like 50 or 60 pictures. You got to do at least 50 to get the price reduction at the pharmacy I go to. So it's 20 cents a picture. So I estimate I have 3 shoeboxes full of these that I've made since I started my investigation. I think I have like $1,500 worth of pictures. I just picked these up. The occult serpent. Alright, so before my little picture show, when I looked up occult serpents on Yahoo image site, we read the sentence, "We learn from the book of Baal and the dragon that in Babylon was kept a great live serpent which the people worshipped." I remember all this according to William Cooper, who wrote the book Beware Pale Horse. And he kept using the cliche, Mystery School of Babylon, gateway to the gods, and apparently they worship the serpent. And apparently this is the new religion of the world that's coming when they destroy Christianity, according to prophecy. I'm going to finish reading some more about the serpent in Morals and Dogma, Albert Pike, and end this video and then move on to the next one, and we'll come back to this book eventually, and I have more pictures and more videos. The Assyrians, the emperors of Constantinople, the Parthians, Scythians, Saxons, Chinese, and Danes all bore the serpent as a standard, and among the spoils taken from Erilene, from Zoniba, were such standards Perseus Draconis, dragons. The Persians represented Osmond, Ahriman, by 2 serpents. Osmond would be the creator of the world. By 2 serpents, contending for the mundane egg. Contending for the mundane egg. Mithras is representative with a lion's head and a human body encircled by a serpent. In the Satyr is this precept: when you kill serpents, you will repeat the Zen Avesta, and thence you will obtain great merit, for it is the same as if you had killed so many devils. So they worship the serpent, and if you kill the snakes, the serpents, it's like killing devils. So the serpents are devils. Serpents encircling rings and globes and ensuing from globes are common in Persia, Egyptian, Chinese, and Indian monuments. Vishnu is represented reposing on a coiled serpent, that would be the Hindu religion, whose fold forms a canopy over him. Mahadeva is representative with a snake around his neck, one around his hair, and armlets of serpents on both arms. Braharava sits on the coils of a serpent, whose head rises above his own. Pravita, his snakes about her neck and waist. Vishnu is the preserving spirit. Mahadeva is Shiva, the evil principle, Siva. Brahriva is his son. These must be Indian gods. And Pravita, his consort. The king of evil demons was called in Hindu mythology, the king of evil demons in Hindu mythology, Naga, the king of serpents, in which we trace the Hebrew Nachas, serpent. In Kashmir, where several hundred places where carved images of serpents were worshipped. And in Tibet, the great Chinese dragon ornamented the temples of the Great Lama. In China, the dragon was the stamp and symbol of royalty, sculptured in all the temples, just like the Rothschilds in their courtyard is the dragon on their shield, their logo. Brazened on the furniture of the houses and interwoven with the vestments of chief nobility. The emperor bears it as his armorial device. It is engraved on his scepter. That would be his thing he holds in his hand, a scepter. And diadem, and on all the vases in the imperial palace. The Chinese believe that there is a dragon of extraordinary strength and sovereign power in heaven, in the air, on the waters, and in the mountains. The god Fohai is said to have had the form of a man, terminating in the tail of a snake, a combination to be more fully explained to you in the subsequent degree. So in further degrees in this book, they will elaborate more on the serpent. The dragon and serpent are the 5th and 6th signs of the Chinese zodiac. And the Hindus and Chinese believe that at every eclipse, the sun and moon is seized by a huge serpent, or dragon, the serpent Asote of the Hindus, which enfolds the globe, and the constellation Draco, to which also refers the war in heaven, when Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. Sancho Nathan says that Taut, T-A-A-U-T, was the author of the worship of serpents among the Phoenicians. He consecrated, he says, the species of dragons and serpents, and the Phoenicians and the Egyptians followed him in this superstition. He was the first who made an image of Cielos, that is, who represented the heavenly host of stars by visible symbols, and probably the same as the Egyptian Thor, T-H-O-T-H, Thought. On the Tyrannian coils of the age of Alexandria, serpents are representative in many positions, attitudes, coiled around trees, erect front of altars, and crushed by the Syrian Hercules. The 7th letter of the Egyptian alphabet, called Zuta, or life, was sacred to Thought, T-H-O-T-H, and was expressed by the serpent standing on his tail, and that deity of God of healing, like Ecclesiopus, to whom the serpent was consecrated, leans on a knotted stick around the coils of a snake. The Isaiah tablet, describing the mysteries of Isis, is charged with serpents on every part of her emblem. The asp, that's a real poisonous snake, was specially dedicated to her and is seen on the heads of her statues. on the bonnets of her priests, and on the terraries of the kings of Egypt. Sepphoris was sometimes represented with a human head and a serpentine tail. And on one engraving, 2 minor gods are represented with him, one by a serpent with a bull's head, and the other by a serpent with the radiated head of a lion. On an ancient sacrificial vessel found in Denmark, having several compartments, a serpent is represented attacking a kneeling boy, pursuing him, retreating before him, appealed to beseechingly by him, and conversing with him. We are at once reminded of the sun at the New Year represented by the child sitting on a lotus, and the relation of the sun of spring with the autumn serpent, pursued by and pursuing him in the conjunction with him. Other figures on this vessel belong to the zodiac. So cosmology, the religion of the stars, the zodiac, the serpent, the bull. On the base of the tripod of the Pythian priest was a triple-headed serpent of brass, whose body folded in circles, growing wider and wider toward the ground, forming a conical column, with the 3 heads disposed triangularly, upheld the tripod of gold. The British god Hu was called the dragon, ruler of the world, and his car was drawn by serpents. So some say, according to Arizona Wilder and David Icke Video and others, that the queen and the family are actually half human, half reptilian beings, which we just read about in this book, by the way, in the creation of mankind on the planet. They were half human and half reptilian. But they're the ones who practice the Illuminati ritual of viciously tearing apart a child, drinking the blood, eating the flesh, and shapeshift into reptilian form. Just saying. That's what I studied. And it says here, the British god Hu was called the dragon, ruler of the world. And we do know the British is called the United Kingdom, or the British Empire. His ministers were styled adders. A druid in a poem of Teletheus says, Telesian, I am a druid, I am an architect, I am a prophet, I am a serpent. The car of the goddess Curwen was drawn by serpents. With the serpent in the ancient monuments, in the very often found associated with the cross. The serpent with the cross was an Egyptian standard. It occurs repeatedly upon the grand staircase of the temple of Osiris at Philae. And on the pyramid of Giza are representative 2 kneeling figures erected across. On the top was a serpent erect. The crux ansata was a cross with a coiled serpent above it, and is perhaps the most common of all emblems on Egyptian monuments. So, I have made another discovery, which I will share in this video. The T was a symbol for the god back then, a big T. And on top of it, they put a circle, and they call that a TAU cross. I'll put my finger next to the word here. Right on this line, TAU cross. We've probably all heard about it, the Tau. So I decided to get some pictures and investigate this Tau. And it was a little disturbing. I mean, I thought about, okay, these Rosicrucians, Illuminati, Knights of Columbus, Knights of Malta. So this is it. Look at the Egyptian symbols on the towel. The Aztec, the Crux and Santa. The T with this circle on top is supposed to be representing a snake, a coiled snake. Look at the Egyptian symbols. The Crux of Santa. This is all this New Age, the stuff people are into. Witchcraft, magic, Illuminati, Kabbalah. The Hebrews are into the Kabbalah, the Zionists, the Talmud. H.G. Wells, the guy I keep talking about, we went over his book, The New World Order, in many videos back of mine. An indictment of the Roman Catholic Church. I've got to get this book. It has the snake on top, or the towel, the Ascenta cross. And we keep talking about the rainbow. Make no mistake, and apparently it's part of the Hades, voodoo, New Age. We've been reading about the rainbow in this material of stuff I've been going over. There's the rainbow colors on the T with the circle above it. Ancient monuments, apparently, according to that site when I looked up occult, or I looked up TAU. They use it everywhere. Here's looks like a crest, and look at the TAU on the bottom here. The symbols, the star, the rays, the TAU is where my finger is. The all-seeing eye. Like I keep saying, you don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to figure this out. And apparently, I don't know if this is Eisenhower or who it was, but it was apparently on this image site, so I decided to print it out. If you click the link, it'll tell you what the story is. But apparently, the president was negotiating with the gray aliens. I print them out and go with where the information takes me. So what I did discover, apparently, I thought it was bad with the Freemasons, York Rite, Scottish Rite, Rosicrucians, Knights of Columbus, Knights of Malta, Zionism, Jesuits, all these 1,000 different mystery school of Babylon cults into this religion. I guess I'm discovering in Albert Pike's book and Helena Blavatsky, Rosicrucian, teaching adepts, witchcraft, and all that. But apparently, they've also infiltrated all the colleges and the fraternities. I would explain all the bizarre goings-on, trying to have sex with all the women of the college and all the other perverted things they do at those parties, which I always thought was funny when I watched the TV programs and all that. But then I find out that the people of the Mystery School of Babylon were the creators of all those fraternities. And I go to myself, oh my, this thing never ends. These people are serious about what they're doing. Delta, Tau, Delta, says it right here in the logo, Tau, T-A-U. That's the T with the snake on the top. See where it says T-A-U on the top there? So I'm discovering that the fraternities, and here's the red string, the magic, and the towel. This is the snake and the T, the towel. And they're highly into the zodiac. Cosmology, a religion. Like Christianity is because of Jesus Christ. These people, here's some more of their symbols. Look at number 3. The SWAT sticker. I guess a lot of them are variations of the Tau. Here's the Tau. It looks like a witchcraft signal with the Tau in it, T-A-U, the T, the Maltese little crosses on the corners that you see on the Queen's clothing, and on the Prince William. They all wear the Maltese cross. The Illuminati was on this website for the Tau. If you click the link, you'll here's the Pope with the alien, the gray alien. So I gotta go to these pictures and look at these descriptions and write on the back of them what it all means. The Illuminati card game, this is pretty spooky stuff here, but a lot of this stuff has come true. But here's some more stuff that looks like it's going to come true. Population reduction is the goal. Center for Disease Control. Plotter resistance. Epidemic. Combined disasters. Kill for peace. Goal. And tape runs out. Well, look up the Illuminati card game and see what's predicted. A lot of the other stuff's already come true. Katie Patra, Dark Horse. So a lot of our Hollywood singers and stars and people. Look at all the symbolism there. Here's the Tau with the snake instead of the circle, so we'll make clear what it is. So instead of Jesus on the cross, they got the snake on the cross. This was at that website. Space Shuttle. Gnostics. All-Seeing Eye. There's the Tau on the bottom, apparently. This is in Albert Pike's book. Apparently these people are into different kinds of witchcraft, magic, or healing. The Tau, however you say it, I'm probably saying it wrong. Everywhere, ancient monuments. Look at the Egyptian symbols. The circle with the wings on top of the mantle. The birds and symbols and the Tau. That's a representation of the T for divinity, and the circle represents a snake. Get it? The snake is their god, the serpent, who was called the serpent, that mighty serpent, Satan, Lucifer. The symbols on the Masons and all that are everywhere. The manual of the Alpha Tau Omega fraternity. So Tau, the divine snake, is in the name of the fraternity. Apparently, the Lincoln Monument, the U.S. Capitol, and the Supreme Council of the 33-degree Masons forms a gigantic T, Tau. And they are into the zodiac. The alchemist seal with symbols of zodiac signs: Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Remember, we are entering the age, or have entered the age of Aquarius, which is a new age, and they're preparing for some new age. I got this book, I got a couple of these books. But apparently it's more of the wearing a red string and worshiping some kind of idol to gain some powers. And these are the creators of the one of the Tau fraternities. Look like Masonic types or Jewish types. The Commander Shadow Sun. Soldiers Seos. They use the Tau symbol here. Reaction. After this warlord commits to a planet, put a attachment, Tau, with a printed cost 2 to a lower Shadow Sun Stealth Center. So we act as one, and united we cannot fail. So they even use these in cartoons and games. The Tau. The Tau is on this symbol. We've seen it everywhere. Look at the center. Circle with the wings, and the Tau. The T means divine being. The circle means the Tau, the T. The snake. The Mayans here, from Sacred Mysteries among the Mayans and the Quiches, by Augustin de la Pau, the Tau Cross, Mexican and British Museum. So we're the Mayans having a Tau Cross. Here's the Tau with the snake. The sun's rays, like we see on the all-seeing eye behind on the eye on the dollar bill, and all the other symbols. And Taurus the bull, here's the symbol, a girl with the bull and the Tau symbol in her lap. Crazy. Taurus, rose quartz, the bull. You know, on the Egyptian hieroglyphics, they have the gods with the 2 horns and the sun circle on their head. Remember, when Moses came down the mountain in the Bible, after going up there speaking to God and getting the 2 tablets, the 10 Commandments, while he was gone, all the Jews down below, Hebrews, had collected all the gold and made a golden calf and were worshiping it. It made Moses so mad he smashed the tablets and had to punish the Jewish people. Here's a nice one. It's Taurus, symbol the bull, element earth, planet Venus, loving, mature, secure, reliable, calm, loyal, kind, and friendly. So if you're Taurus, that's what you are. The Tau. They got fraternities with the Tau. Apparently these games have something to do with it that keep these days. TAU Empire. Horus is the Egyptian god with the bird's head, and he's holding the Tau, which is the T, divine, God, and the circle is the snake. Apparently in some of the cathedrals or ancient church buildings, they got towels everywhere you can see on the roof. Worshipping the snake. Circle, pyramid, Tau. Circle, pyramid, Tau. Another bunch of images I found at that website. The 2 pyramids, one as above, so below. Looks like a NASA symbol here, with the all-seeing eye, the sun rays. Anutis Conceptus means mission accomplished. More symbols. The pyramid. What's NASA doing with the pyramid? And the eye. More than you know if you look into this. Again, revolution. This is what's planned, a world revolution. That's why they have to economically destroy the United States and probably Europe and the world, so that the people start fighting each other. They don't know who's pulling the strings, the Hegelian dialectric. The combined disasters. Here's an Illuminati card. This was in this Tau website, Occult Tau. So they do plan on more crazy disasters. Geometry of the Philosopher's Stone. Looks like ancient philosophy. Again, the circle with the pyramid. And this one surprised me. Crop circle. So now we might be able to get an idea where these crop circles are coming from. We know these cults are into the fraternities, the Knights of Malta, Knights of Columbus, Scottish Rite, York Rite, Masons, Freemasons, Illuminati, witchcraft, all these cults, and crop circles. From all these pictures we looked at, we can recognize it. The eye, the pyramid without the top, like on the dollar bill, the sun's rays. So what's that got to do with the crop circles? I suspect everything. I've always suspected that it had something to do with all of this. Illuminati brainwash. I keep saying they are brainwashing people with the TV, mesmerization, propaganda, magazines, TV programs, games, school education taken over. There's books out there. Steve Jackson Games, Illuminati, The Game of Conspiracy, Illuminati Brainwash, designed by Steve Jackson, and Alan Venney, Steve Jackson Games. They're making games on this stuff. Towel on the symbol of Jesus Christ. I see dragons. I'm not sure this is a symbol of Jesus Christ. Oh, I get it. This is a, see the pole right here? And then this would be the top of the T. It's like winged creatures. Snake in this guy's hands. Cut out of, looks like quartz or something. So the Ankh, it's also called the Ankh. It's Egyptian. Again, now that we know what it means divine is the T, and the top is the snake, is the representation. And here's another Illuminati card called Nuclear Accident. And we know Fukushima is continuing to pollute the Pacific. The Pentagon card game Illuminati, we know what happened there. This was at the Tau website. I found these in this sequence. So somebody knows, there's a Tau, the T. Tidal wave. We know what happened in Japan. Is more planned? Illuminati card game. Why these were on the Tau website, I don't know. Apparently, the leadership of the world has made an agreement with some kind of reptilian aliens. And Tau, we noticed this symbol for the crown and the chain. The Odd Fellows, Freemasonic Lodge or something. And the Tau on the bottom. Alright, more on this website. Apparently all these people, all the things I've been talking about, Nixon, Mr. Balfour, Springer, George Washington, Rockefeller, Rothschilds, all these people into the mystery school of Babylon planning to create a new world order, the Illuminati, was at that website with the Tau. Here's a pharaoh with two Taus, Ankhs, or Taus. Again, it's the T means the divine entity, creator, and the circle is the snake. National Ritual Celebration Week. I guess they're going to have to abduct a few people and sacrifice them to death in their satanic rituals. Zeta Tau Alpha. Seek the noblest. Another fraternity. Seek the noblest. The Tau. The Ankh. The T, divine. Snake on top. The serpent. That's represented by the crown too, by the way. So this website was just full of more information. It would take me a while to go back and start going through these image websites and reading the descriptions and writing on the back of these cards, which I plan to do, to continue educating myself. Here's some creatives of one of the Tau fraternities. They look like Masonic types. Creating all that little fun times at the university where everybody has to get initiated, get it? Go through one of those hazings. Here's another one, Tau Alpha Omega. You can't make this stuff up. Looks like Tau, Tau, Tau here. Order of Chaos. The Order of Chaos. Order of Chaos. That's what it says. And there's Taus and swords. See the Tau on the left, the right, the top, and the bottom? And it says Order of Chaos. You can go look up this TAU cult. They use it everywhere. This is on one of the Freemasonic Lodge floors. The secret cipher of the UFO nuts. So the aliens have everything to do with all this. It was at the same site as the Tau. Somebody's cufflinks. Pyramids and Taus. Anks. Egyptian hieroglyphics. We got snakes. Pharaohs, and Unks, Taus. You got a Jesus type character here with beings with wings and seemingly little aliens. There's a funny looking little Unk made with snakes. The wings, the snakes, the circle on top. It's pretty clear. You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to figure this out. I love the picture thing. Here's another crest. Delta, Delta, Tau. So another fraternity, and there's their crest with Tau on the bottom. The Emperor on the tarot cards. Tarot cards? The Emperor has a Tau, an Ankh in his hand. The T means divine, the circle means snake. The anatomy of the body of God, so this Rosicrucian Sephiroth is what they think the body of God is. The Crux Asanta. The Tau, the Ankh. It's a book here you can get. The Delta T, Delta Fraternity, All-Seeing Eye, the Tau, the Moon, the stars. The Alchemist, Keys to Masonic Ritual. Okay, here we go. The Alchemic Keys to Masonic Ritual. We got the dragon. We got the two heads on the guy, the compass, the sun, and the Tau in one of the little stars. Look at that. The Tau's right there. The Ankh, the Crux Assunta. And this is a alchemy to the Freemasons. The Ankh. Egyptian hieroglyphics. The T means divine, the round circle is the snake. Here's a little door knocker for somebody's house. The top is the Tau. And the rope could be construed as a snake. Zeta Tau, International Badge Day. Wear your Tau badge with pride. I kid you not. I gotta go back and read this. I forgot what it means. But apparently this is one of the creators of one of the fraternities. And people, I saw this picture on this website. Here's a girl with the symbolism on her shirt and doing the devil sign. I see people all everywhere doing this. And we notice the rainbow colors of the ankh, the towel, the crossenta, the flail, and the cane there. And lastly, this little card here, when I went on that site. I've not read it before. Let's take a look at it. 10 October 1992, the Right Ancient Memphis Mizram Letter of Charter for a Lodge of Philosophical Study and Research. By the authority as Hierophant, Conservator, and Grand Master of the Ancient and Primitive Rite of Egyptian Initiation, Memphis Mizram, I, Michael Beatrix, do authorize the Reverend Alan E. Greenfield, Doctor of Divinity and Philosophy, living in Atlanta, Georgia, USA, to found, gather, rule, and teach a philosophical and research lodge of the ancient and primitive rite of Memphis Mizram, for purposes of mystical inquiry leading to initiation into the mysteries and secrets of nature, as set forth in our teachings, to admit, raise, pass, and exalt those subjects to his authority, gathered to him as Hermetic students for this purpose. So this guy's creating a new lodge for the Hermetic studies, all this Mystery School of Babylon stuff. By the same letter, I appoint the Reverend Alan G. Greenfield, a bishop and prince of the Gnostics, as master of this lodge of the philosophical study and research, who shall rule this lodge subject to my sole authority as conservator of the ancient and primitive rite of mystic Mishrams. The name of this lodge shall be the Sons, S-O-N-S, also called Sons, S-U-N-S, of Aaron. And may the sons and daughters of Aaron, who are gathered into this lodge, be blessed by their studies and inquiries. To all who come to read these words, I convey my blessing and my spiritual protection. I just had a neighbor walk up. Let me finish this little card that was on that Ankh Towel website. Given this day, October 12th, 1992, in the zenith of Chicago, Illinois, with my signature, stamp, and seal. So there you have it. More on the Mystery School of Babylon, the snake symbol, the serpent, the Ankh, the towel. So as it says here, with the serpent, I'll finish this last paragraph I read earlier, in the ancient monuments it is very often associated the cross. The serpent upon a cross was an Egyptian standard. It occurs repeatedly upon the grand staircase of the Temple of Osiris at Philae, and on the Pyramid of Gaza, also representative, two kneeling figures erecting a cross, on the top which is a serpent erect. The crux asanta, that's that symbol we looked at, even with the fraternities, was a cross with a coiled serpent above it, and is perhaps the most common of all emblems of Egyptian monuments, carried in the hand of almost every figure of a deity or priest. Crazy stuff. The condylusis, the thing with the doctor's symbol, the pole with the two snakes, borne by Hermes or Mercury, and also by Cybele, Minerva, Anubis, Hercules, Omegas of god of the Celts, and the personified constellation Virgo was a winged wand entwined by two serpents. It was originally a simple cross, symbolizing the equator and equinoctial color and the four elements proceeding from a common center. This cross, surmounted by a circle, and that by a crescent, became the emblem of the supreme deity, God, or of the active power of generation and the passive power of production conjoined, and was appropriated by Thoth, T-H-O-T-H, or Mercury. It then assumed an improved form, the arms of the cross being changed into wings, and the circle and crescent being formed by two snakes springing from the wand, forming a circle by crossing each other, and their heads making the horns of the crescent, in which form is seen in the hands of Anubis. If to the Masonic point within a circle, in the two parallel lines, we add the single tau cross, we have the ancient Egyptian triple tail. So like I said, I'll end this video. Kind of crazy material. The philosophical studies of the Freemasons, with the obvious implications to the rest of us with this New World Order, New Age, the rainbow representing this religion, representing the New Age, representing the gay agenda, representing also the Haitian voodoo magic and all that, with the serpent as their god. It's pretty plain to me that this is all, as I understood it by growing up Catholic and even attending on my grandmother's side the Baptist church, that this is satanic material here that they're into. And even the Jews, if you look that up, many Jewish people have said, yes, Lucifer is our God. And apparently even the Vatican has embraced that religion. The United Nations, with the Theophist Society office next door, and their propaganda, lies, deceit of biodiversity and sustainability, global warming, the financial crises of the world. While they control the Federal Reserve, they're causing the financial crisis. Sky spraying of chemicals, maybe biologicals, mercury in vaccines, Ted Turner, Bill Gates saying they want to reduce the population. The prince over there in England said if he could come back and be reincarnated, he'd like to come back as a virus so he could kill everybody. Crazy stuff. Thank you for watching my video, Rick Miracle Reporting. There is a comment section, and I do appreciate the thumbs up. Lets me know that people appreciate what I'm doing. There is a donate button down there. $1,500 just in these pictures I have. And I estimated that 500 books I have, let's say $10 a book, and other magazine, that's almost in 10 years, 11 years, 10,000 or more dollars worth of stuff I had to buy to learn what I learned and make these videos. $10,000. Thank you for watching my video, Rick Miracle Reporting.